Hi, Merry Christmas. And I'm starting for a second time because I forgot that I have to hit the record button twice before it actually records. We went to Best Buy yesterday. I got a new toy. This is a digital audio recorder, and it's allowing me to make sound files. It's going to allow me to make audio files when the camera maybe isn't the optimal recording device for a vlog. Like if I go out and about, which is kind of what I bought it for. I could put an external mic on it and pin that to my lapel and go out in the wind, you know. And also purchased 3 amiibos to go with Animal Crossing. It was a kit of 3. You've got her and her husband and KK Strider, the guitar-playing dog from Animal Crossing. And if you don't play Animal Crossing, that's okay. You've probably heard of it by now. It's one of these. It's this game here. And in fact, when I'm done the vlog, I'm gonna get on the Animal Crossing here, and I'm gonna check the calendar date on it because it really should be in the snow, and it's not. Assuming then I've got the clock wrong. Christmas, yeah. When I was young, it was a lot of fun. We had money, and we had time, and we had family, and we had extended family, and we'd all get together, and everybody had presents, and there was a ton of presents for everybody. And you'd sit around opening them one at a time and admiring them as you went, and then you'd all sit down to a big feast. Classic North American Christmas things, actually classic Western Christmas things. And when I left home, that all came to a crashing halt. So I had a bunch of different ways that I was coping because I really missed the magic of Christmas. And I remember for a few years, I would get together with people in the community that I was friends with, and we'd have what I called an orphan's Christmas. And everybody'd bring a portion of the meal, and everybody would wrap up something from their house. Okay, not something you went out and bought, but something you looked around and said, you know, I don't need this item anymore. I'm going to wrap it up and let someone else have it. And then when we would just use a lottery to choose what order we get to pick up our presents, and rather than stealing any open present that was open before you, we just bartered across between us. You know, I think the most we ever had was 8 people, so it wasn't hard to do. We just bartered trades till everybody got the present they wanted, and that way you didn't have to have money to be able to present something, to give a present. And then all those people moved away, and then I moved to the west side of town where it's apparently too dangerous to even drive over and park your car, too dangerous to ride a bus or walk in. And so nobody wanted to visit me because they're afraid to get mugged. And I can't say it's not a risk. When you park your car on the street, I've had at least one house guest have a headlight smashed out for no reason. I've had a windshield smashed out. My husband's had a headlight smashed out. The neighbors have had their tires slashed. And I have been mugged twice in my neighborhood, so, I wasn't able to say, no, you're not, that's not reasonable. If I was willing to go, pick them up and drive them, but then you can't really, I might as well go visit them. And then I still have to drive home. And anyways, it really puts a damper on your relationships when you've got a whole half a city between you and only one party is willing to travel between A and B over and over again. After a while, you start to feel, well, I'm visiting you all the time. I'd like to just sit home and make tea and not be the one that has to come out and get dressed and go out and go sit awkwardly in somebody else's house doing my duty while they fail to entertain me, because generally they just sit there and expect me to be entertained by nothing more than a cup of tea, if that, and listening to their dulcet tones of their golden voices, they talk about their week. And so my relationships kind of got dim. So here I am, it's Christmas. For a while there, I didn't even have a mate. I was single, so I was sitting here alone at Christmas, and I tried going to the soup kitchen, and I was, I'm too autistic to volunteer. I'm not poor enough to be grateful for the presence of a soup kitchen because I'm so damn hungry, and I'm not rich enough to be benefiting the people there. Instead, I just felt bad for everybody around me for being so poor. I tried joining a family once, and it made me feel more like an outsider because I was basically just sitting there watching them enjoy their Christmas and being allowed to eat some of their food. That wasn't Christmas. And I finally realized, you know, if I take the view that I'm not Christian and that this is not my culture, I mean, when's the last time you saw a Jew or an Arab or a Buddhist broken up over the fact that he's alone on December 25th? Why wouldn't they be? If there's some inherent magic at Christmas that everybody feels, why wouldn't people who aren't raised up in the Christian Christmas tradition, why would they not give a damn? You know, why wouldn't they feel it too? And I realized that as a pagan and a witch, I could take the view that the 21st was my important day, and that I should do something celebratory that day and leave this December 25th stuff out of my life. And I started doing that. I started observing the 21st as a pagan. If possible, I joined other people and celebrated. If not possible, I did some small ritual of my own. I've tried getting up early and lighting a fire at 7 a.m. before the sun rises. And that was kind of cold, and I couldn't get anyone to join me. But I felt very magical and important. I've tried just staying up all night with the lights on. A bunch of different little ways that I've tried to observe it and make something of it. And then I finally got too sick a couple of years ago. But by then I had emotionally separated myself far enough from Christmas Day that I really didn't care anymore. And when I got too sick even to decorate for Christmas, I realized, you know, I've got all kinds of, I've got tinsel, I've got this laser etched wrapping paper on the back of the TV, so when I look through the shelves at the back of the TV, instead of a big black square thing, I see all of these wonderful colors. I've got little Christmas lights decorating all over the place. I've had them for ages, and you know, those ones are bunnies and carrots that are Easter, not Christmas, but they're color changing LEDs. Those ones are hidden behind the curtain, so they're atmosphere, but they're color changing LEDs. And also, yeah, I've got rhinestones on the TV. I've got all these little ways that I bring in the pretty things from Christmas all year. So, you know, it's fun. I go to the stores and I go through the Christmas department and just enjoy the bright colors and the sparklies, and that's good enough. And, you know, Dan usually triggers a bit of a spending spree. We buy a few things. We're waiting on a 3D printer from China. That's going to be a blast. And like I said, we went to Best Buy, and I bought something way back at my birthday that was kind of birthday and Christmas. And isn't that typical? I don't even remember what it was. You know? I mean, really. Christmas, what is it really? Except it's an orgy of excess. It's an opportunity to blow all your morals and just dive into making yourself sick with bad food and making yourself broke with junk you didn't need. Right? Am I right? I mean, really. So the good part about Christmas is that people make an effort to get together. But the bad part is, when you are a solo adult like me, that translates into merely being annoyed by incoming messages when you're trying to wash the dishes and you've got to take your gloves off in order to address the incoming message so that that person feels like you love them because you love them enough to want to keep them in your world, but not enough to want to take your gloves off in the middle of washing dishes and go answer a text message. That kind of thing. And most of those relationships, all you really do is you send a phrase back and forth and some stupid pictures, and that's Christmas spirit. I'm sorry, if you're not coming over to eat food at my table, and I'm not coming over to eat food at your table, then it's nothing to me. It's nothing. If I had people to come, I would totally drag a turkey out of the freezer for them. Always have a turkey in the freezer. I always do. This year I just bought a giant smoked turkey. Most of it is in the freezer. The day after. I mean, it looked beautiful in the fridge, and I was like, And the day after, I sliced it all down, and the bones are now in my soup pot. And most of the meat is packaged up in the freezer, with a package of it in the freezer for us to nibble on as we go. And we bought a Black Forest cake, which was a dumb idea. I think it made me a little fatter than I need to be. Dan bought a fruit cake that you can see here that I'm not going to touch with a 10-foot pole. I shouldn't even touch it with my finger in a video. You want to talk about making yourself sick. Oh my God, that stuff is so cheap and so rich with sugar. I'm making bone broth. I'm eating a lot of garlic. I bought some potato chips. There's Christmas oranges now. That's Christmas. But when it comes down to it, what is Christmas? Either it's important because the people that you care most about have made an effort to get together with you, or you're just going through the motions, or you're setting a theatrical scene for children. If you have children, you must do Christmas because children really get off on that stuff. Children are what rituals are for. It's for the children. It's to give them a sense of place, a sense of connection. It's to give them really good memories. I have some really awesome memories of waking up Christmas morning and going to see what kind of sugar feast awaited me. And yeah, it was all about the sugar. And that's another problem with Christmas. It's all about the sugar. Why should one day on the calendar be an excuse to make yourself sick? Why should all of a sudden sugar be the most important food rather than really good healthy oranges and really good smoked turkey? And my dog wants to be picked up. Come here, Timmy. He's feeling lonely. Poor little tiny Tim. Hi. You want to say hi to the camera? Oh, you want to give me kisses? You loving dog. I want to give you kisses on your neck. He's such a sweetheart. I really love this beastie. I think he's going to go in his basket now. I keep a chair next to my chair, and on it is this big wicker basket I got for a ridiculously low, I think it was $20 at Target. It's like a $120 basket when you go buy these new baskets. And by the way, since when is a basket worth $120? I don't know, how long did it really take the weaver to make? I guess it's all the people in between from the weaver through to the store that are all making their salary in between. And some of them are probably making more salary than they're worth. That's another good reason to buy local whenever you can, because you're probably going to buy it directly from the person who made it, and they're going to get all of the profit instead of a tiny sliver of profit that's not enough to live on, while a bunch of managers and CEOs make obscene incomes off of the transfer of that product from him to you. And there's going to be at least 3, probably 4 people in between the manufacturer and the customer, because you've got the person who collects it from the manufacturer and puts it in a warehouse. You've got the person who sells it to the stores. You've got the shipper who takes it to the stores. You've got the CEO of the store and all of his employees who retail it out to you. So that's your 4 people right there, between the manufacturer and the receiver, the person who the customer. There's 4 people who are doing jobs to do with distribution or management of that asset and have nothing to do with either its production or its use. And when back to Christmas, how much of the stuff that you bought for Christmas for other people is a waste of your money? Why did you buy it? Were you hoping to impress them? Did you buy it because it was expensive and it shows everybody how rich you are? Did you buy it because you knew for a fact that they needed and or wanted it? Did they need it, or did they just want it? Was it bought because it was on the ad and everybody thought that was awesome? How broke are you now? Did you buy stuff that were only temporary wants and now you've got a permanent bill? Think about that. Maybe there's a way you can chop back Christmas without feeling like somehow you've become a poor person or you're less of a person in some fashion because you spent less money. Think about it. Did you really need another little house in your little tiny village that you only set up for 3 weeks a year, 4 weeks a year? Yeah, I know. You're all out there making those little tiny little Santa Claus villages. Sure, I know, they look nifty, they're cute. How much are you spending on that? You really need to work that many hours to spend the money on that? It's one of the things I've been looking at. It's one of the reasons I want to move into a bus. Already I'm in a tiny house where, tchotchkes like this stupid butterfly are kind of a dumb purchase. And after a while, it's more of a clutter than a value. Although, I kind of like the butterflies, but I did give one away recently. I started giving them away. If someone comes over and admires it, they're very likely to wind up going home with it. Because everything's got to move into a bus, and by my calculation, the bus in this house will have nearly equal floor space, possibly even equal interior volume. This is a very small house. But I will probably not be able to bring everything in. Frankly, I don't want to. I am so tired of seeing so many shapes everywhere. This whiskey, by the way, is treating my head cold. It's medicinal. It's the only thing that makes my nose clear up and the sneeze tickle go away. So I'm drinking alcohol and it's giving me the runs, which meant I didn't sleep last night. It's maybe a little grumpier today than maybe I should be. Less energetic than I would be. I'd love to get on the treadmill. I'd love to be able to go to the gym. I'd love to be able to take a walk. But it's cold outside, though. Oh, my God. It's like -15 is the high. That's Canadian, Celsius. I shouldn't say Canadian. That's all of the world except for America, as far as I know. Where else do they still use Fahrenheit? I think there's a couple other countries. They really need to upgrade in the States. There's really no good excuse for staying. I mean, we've all done it. We were feet and inches in Fahrenheit when I was growing up, and now it's Celsius. And my brain still works in both. I still measure carpentry in inches, and I still measure my body temperature in Fahrenheit. And I don't know, who cares, right? You get used to it, you change, you adjust. For the longest time, I couldn't understand temperatures in Celsius, but now it's just natural because it's what I hear on the radio. It's going to be such and such Celsius today. Now all my thermostats are in Celsius, and you learn that, 20 below is cracking cold, and 15 below is cold, and 5 below is it's kind of chilly, and melty is good. That's 0. You learn that. Christmas, trying to stay on topic. I hope that your Christmas involved lots of love, lots of oxytocin, lots of smiles and happy faces and interactions with people that leave you feeling less alone in the world. I hope your Christmas involved some happy surprises where you unwrapped something pretty and found something enjoyable in it. I hope the food was good and you didn't get sick and you don't feel bloated and you don't feel constipated or diarrheic or dizzy or nauseous or overweight tomorrow. I hope the leftovers stay good and nobody ever gets sick off them. And I hope your New Year's feels like you've celebrated something. And I hope, more than anything, I hope 2017 is better than 2016 because let's face it, this was a rough year. It seems to have been a rough year for almost everybody. Most of us. I mean, there's all those celebrities we lost as a society. And for me personally, the diagnosis of cancer and being so ill that I had to be dragged into ER and the pain that I was in and all of the treatments I've been through, it's been a fascinating experience and I'm grateful for that, but it's been a shitty year, so with my empty water glass, here's to 2017. May it be an improvement. Merry Christmas.